Hey everybody, welcome back. Well, a while back I did a video on how to make money as a 3D artist, how to get clients and so forth, right? It can be pretty tough out there. Now, today we're going to do kind of a follow-up on that. I received a question from a 3D artist in India, and his comment was basically that he lived in an area where there was not a lot going on 3D-wise. He managed to find a couple of customers, but what do you do to hold on to them? That's what this video is about, okay? I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips, and hopefully they will help you out. Here we go. This video has been made possible by Leidschendam, the creators of Keyshot. Tip number 5, guys, balance. Well, the triangle, a famous one, but nevertheless a very important one. So the triangle is related to the balance in the relationship between you and your customer. Your customer promised you to pay you for your services or your product, and in return you're going to deliver that service or product, right? Now, how you deliver that product is basically captured in this triangle. You can do things very quickly, you can do it at a very high quality, and or you can do it at a very low cost. The problem here is, and that's why this triangle is famous, you can only promise the customer 2 out of 3. If you do things at very high quality and very low cost, it won't be done quickly. It could take forever because you will work in your spare time, right? If it has to be at very low cost and also done quickly, then the quality is going to suffer, and so forth. So keep an eye on this. Whenever you want to do all 3 of these, the relationship will suffer because you will be unsatisfied or the customer will be unsatisfied. So keep that in mind, okay? Tip number 4, internal network. All right, so the next one is all about internal network. Now, this doesn't apply to all types of customers, but mainly to larger companies that you're working for. Let's say you're working for a marketing department or a PR department. The idea is this: once you have established a relationship with the client, you want to make sure that it stays that way, right? Now, if you're working with somebody who is responsible for hiring talent, then they will probably every couple of months or so try to see if they can get that same service cheaper, better, and whatnot, because it's their job, okay? So it's important for you, while you're working with that customer, to get as much exposure with other people in the company as possible. Build your internal network and make sure you get to know as many people as possible. Because if they start to consider you as a coworker, it'll be much harder for that single person to get rid of you, right? Tip number 3, multiple projects. All right, so we just established that it's really important to have an internal network at your client's place, all right? So that's cool. So you know a bunch of people. Now what? Well, once you know all these people other than your primary contact, it's important to you to cash in on that. And what I mean by that, every time you set foot in that building, you need to see if you can find out whether there are additional things you can do for them. So let's say your main contact is in marketing, but you also know Bob, who works in the PR department, and he mentioned something about a new poster that they need for an event where they need a 3D object for that. So basically, you're going to ask your primary contact if it's okay for you to sit down with Bob and talk about that. Now, you need to be very respectful about this and never go behind the back of your primary contact, because that's the best way to get kicked out of the building in seconds, right? But be very polite about it, be very respectful about it, and try to get as much work as possible in that one building. The simple reason for that is if your primary contact in marketing knows that you're also working for 4 other departments, it's going to be very hard for them to switch to another artist, okay? So there you go. Tip number 2, customer loyalty program. All right, so customer loyalty program. Well, you probably heard about this, in the shop, at the gas station or whatnot, but in this case, we're going to apply this to your customer. So let's say you're working for your customer and it's January 1st, 2019. You can tell your customer, okay, my hourly rate is $45. If you commit to working with me, I'll give you this loyalty program. So as soon as we hit more than $5,000 revenue, my hourly rate will go down from 45 per hour to 40 per hour. If it goes over 10,000, it will go down to 35. Now, of course, this is a complete random example, depending on where you live and so forth. And also, there's a limit to how far you will go down. So let's say you've been working with this customer for a while, you're at $35, that's your limit, you don't want to go lower than that. However, everybody else that wants to work with that company is asking $45. So you definitely have a benefit there. It's going to cost you about $10 an hour, that you get less. But at the same time, you don't have to spend that $10 an hour going out, finding new customers, putting up ads and whatnot. So it's a kind of a win-win. And finally, tip number 1. How do you save money for the client? Okay, and then finally, and this is my favorite, and I think this one works very, very well, saving money. Now, this is about saving money for your client. And it can work two ways. One is that you look very critically at your own process and find ways to do things faster or better or whatever for your customer in a way that it will cost you less and therefore will cost your customer less. So they will get the feeling you're not just there to fill your pockets, you're also there to really help them, okay? So you can say, well, I invested in, new piece of hardware, new piece of software, whatnot. As a result, I can work much quicker, and as a result of that, I can lower my rates, or something like that. If you translate those savings back to your customers, they will be very appreciative about it. You will make your position in the market stronger because maybe you are now working more efficient than others, and also they will have the feeling you're not just there to fill your pockets, you really care about your client and you're trying to build a long-term relationship. Now, the second way, and this is one you need to be very careful with, is if you visit your client's location quite often and you start to know more and more people, you might even get an insight in a process where your primary contact does not. Let's say that person is working in marketing, but because of your internal network at their location, you know people in all sorts of departments. And you find that there's a piece of the process that they're not really doing that efficiently. Now, like I said, be very careful with that because you don't want to pry in their business. They can get really upset about that. But if you got a really strong relationship, you might mention that you saw a couple of opportunities for them to save money. If your primary contact can use that as his or her idea and most likely take credit for it, they'll be very grateful. So that's a second way, but be careful with that one. So hopefully these tips together will give you an idea how you can hold on to that client, and let me know in the comments if you tried these out and how they worked out for you. Okay? Well, that's it for this video. See you guys next time. Bye.